All right, we are back. Episode 61, Lost to the Shuffle, and we have a very special guest today. We have Jeff Francoeur. What's up, Jeff?
What's up, man? How are you?
Sorry, I should have done a better intro than that. We should have said Gold Glove winner Jeff Francoeur. How about that?
I like, you know what? I like that, but I'm easy to please, so you can just drop Frenchie, my name, and we can roll.
Perfect. Nice and easy going, low maintenance. I like it, Jeff. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I saw you liked one of my posts or something, or you started following me, and then I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, it's Jeff
Yeah,
Francoeur. Like, let me reach out to this guy. If he saw some of my stuff, at least he'll know who he's talking to, you know?
absolutely, man. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed following some of the stuff, and I enjoy good comedy, people that tell it like it is. So it was fun to follow.
Refreshing, right? That's what I'm told.
That's the best
Yeah.
word, refreshing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my job. I do a lot of content stuff for Playmaker, for my own brand as well. For everybody watching, this is Jeff Francoeur. Jeff was called up in 2005 with the Braves organization, played many years with them, was actually on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They called him the Natural. So he had a very good rookie season. We're going to talk about that stuff too as well. So let's just get right into it, Jeff, okay? First question I got here for you. Obviously, you were a part of a group called the Baby Braves, bunch of rookie players. I think you guys had like 17 maybe rookies on that team, and you guys were nicknamed the Baby Braves, and you guys were dominant. You guys brought the Braves their 14th division title in 2005. My question is, what similarities do you see with that team that you were a part of and this young Braves lineup today?
Well, first off, I hope the Braves can continue it and not break the streak like the Baby Braves did the next year when we screwed it all up down in Atlanta in 06. But no, it's fun, man. There's a lot of young guys. I was talking to, Brian McCann's one of my closest friends. We were both 21 when we came up, and we were talking about it because, Vaughn Grissom, Michael Harris, those guys, Spencer Strider, they have no idea what they're doing. I mean, they do, but they have no idea how cool it is, the opportunity they have. Because when you're in the moment and you're 21 years old, man, you just don't even think about it. You think you're going to be back. But I will tell you, the one cool thing about the Braves organization is they do a great job in the minor leagues of preparing you how to play when you get to the big leagues. So we played a lot of teams coming up. They would do different stuff throughout a game. We played the game the exact way in single A that Bobby Cox was going to want you to do when you got to the big leagues. And so there was no surprises when you get up. I remember when I got called up, I got into Bobby's office the morning of my call up. We had a day-night doubleheader, and he said, well, you got 2 weeks to show me what you can do. And, I mean, you talk about pressure at the same time.
Right.
But you appreciated the opportunity, and he was being truthful. I'm going to give you a chance to run you out there for 2 weeks and show me what you can do. But, these guys are so talented that come up now, not just on the Braves, but these other teams. It's so much fun to watch, and whether it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. A lot of these guys have played baseball and baseball only for a long time. So they're a lot more polished coming up than I think a lot of guys were back in the day that were 2-3 sport athletes.
Yeah. So, like you said, you had a lot of pressure coming up. You said 2 weeks. You're pretty much given that notice, like, hey, you got 2 weeks to show me. Do you think your approach at the plate was influenced by hearing that stuff? Because you're looking fastball. You're a little bit of a free swinger.
You can say it 100%.
Yeah.
I was ready to hit, man, the moment I came up, but. That it's a double-edged sword. When you're going good, it's great. You can hit anything that's thrown up there. You feel, 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I will say, one thing I wish that I had now back then is more of kind of the scouting reports of how people would attack you, what areas they would attack you. And I think that could have helped me. I think I would have cut down on some things, but, even just, God, that was 18, 17 years ago when I came up. The game's changed so much now with scouting reports. I mean, I couldn't even imagine having video in the dugout where you're sitting there looking at what was going on. Sometimes you get a young pitcher coming up, man, you got nothing. It's like watch him warm up and go get them. And now it's completely different. So, there's plus and minuses, but I do wish I had some of that stuff today to help me out.
Yeah, we're looking at spin rates now. We're looking at all this kind of advanced stats and metrics.
Yep.
And I don't even know, maybe do you think the approach of a player now is different back then? Because, a lot of the stuff now is launch angle and getting the ball up as opposed to like, when I was growing up, it's like line drive. Everyone wants to hit a line drive. So do you think that approach is different with all that stats and all those advanced metrics?
I think it is. And I think, unfortunately, it's harmful for some people. I really do. Kyle Wright for the Braves has won 20 games this year. He's been outstanding. They try to get him to pitch at the top of the zone early on the last few years. Well, let me break it to you. Kyle at 94, 95 at the top of the zone is not smart. It's just not. It kind of reminds me, you want to talk about the Phillies, Nick Pivetta. They'd always want him to go to the top of the zone. And I'm like, why in the world would you want a pitcher that throws a straight fastball in Philadelphia, right? In
Right.
Philly, throwing the ball? It's just stupidity to me. I'm sorry. I don't know whose idea that was. But now, with that being said, Kyle Wright gets strikeouts up here because he relies heavy on the sink. So there's certain guys that can do it, certain guys that can't. And I think you have to do what your strength is, but you can't. The one thing I will say about the game that I argue with a lot of these guys, everybody is completely different. And you cannot treat Kyle Wright the same you treat, Spencer Strider or somebody for the Braves. They're different pitchers, different people. So you got to find out what works for you.
Sure. And we're going to get into a little bit more of the game, the state of the game today as well. But the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was one of my favorite events, the World Baseball Classic. Now, you and your teammate Chipper Jones got to represent Team USA in 2006, which is so cool. So I want to know what that experience is like because we have it coming again next year, and I love it so much. So tell me just a little bit about what the World Baseball Classic is like.
Well, it's awesome. And the cool thing for me is my next door neighbor is the manager this year, Mark DeRosa, coming up. So we're
Oh,
neighbors.
D-Ro. He's always on
Yeah.
MLB. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're neighbors and we golf all the time. But he's so excited. He played in it too, and now to be able to manage. It's cool because in baseball, we just don't have any international competition. We we really don't. When you look at basketball gets to do the Olympics, all the other sports, football doesn't, but, to get to represent your country, wear USA across the chest. And for me, as 22 years old, man, when I went and played in this thing and I'm walking in the clubhouse and I see Derek Jeter, Ken Griffey Jr., Rod.
Oh boy. Looks like Jeff cut out. We're going to work on getting back here. Jeff cut out real quick. He was in the middle of telling us about the World Baseball Classic. We'll get him back on here in a second. I'm sure he will rejoin in a second. He was just talking about the World Baseball Classic. Seeing Derek Jeter, Ken Griffey Jr. So exciting stuff. I think he probably just got a phone call or something. Here he is. There he is.
Hey, can you see me?
I can't see you, but it's just a black screen.
Hold on. What the heck? Did my internet maybe go out at the hotel?
There might be a cam button that says like start camera. Cut Jeff a break, guys. This is one of his first times doing this, so. There might be a camera button at the bottom that says start camera or start camera. It's gone again. We are working on getting Jeff back into the pod. He's having some technical difficulties. This is live television, not TV, but it's internet. So Jeff was just talking to us about World Baseball Classic, Ken Griffey Jr., Derek Jeter, everyone he got to see. He represented Team USA at the age of 22. We got him back.
There we go.
There he is. He's back.
I think my internet actually went out at the hotel, so I had to get in.
Man, got to write a letter or something. We're in the middle of talk about Ken Griffey Jr. and Derek Jeter, 22 years old at the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, and man, you walk into that. Imagine, I'm a baseball lifey, man. My dad grew up outside of Boston, so he's a huge Red Sox fan. So I grew up watching between the Braves and Red Sox, all these different guys. And then Jason Varitek was in there, who I grew up watching. And of course, I can't forget Chipper. I know I played with him in Atlanta, but chance to hang out with him with all these other guys. And probably the coolest moment for me, obviously besides playing baseball, was when we got knocked out. I flew on a plane with Jeter, Clemens, and Chipper back from LA to Tampa. And you talk
nice
about
long flight. Yeah.
5 hours of just getting, listening to the stories and stuff, man. It was incredible. And it wasn't a commercial flight. Let's put it that way.
Sure. Right. Yeah. You guys got to do whatever you wanted to on there, I'm sure. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this year's World Baseball Classic. Obviously, like you said, your neighbor, Mark DeRosa, is going to manage that team. Yep. Very happy. Is he like as cool in person as he is on TV?
Well, I hate to say it because, I know I have to, but yes, he is. He so much, we have so much fun. We got a great group of guys that we play golf with. And, he's got 2 kids, a daughter at Auburn now, and he's got a little boy who's in 7th grade playing baseball. So it's, we have a lot of fun. We play ball with the kids in the streets, my little guy. And so, I was happy for him because he's tinkered about managing before. He's obviously very knowledgeable about the game. And I think this will be a good opportunity for him to see if he wants to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. He just seems like such a cool cat on TV. He does talk about his kids because he does coach his child's baseball team too, right? He's always flying back and forth.
Oh yeah, but I think he wanted to pull back because he's a perfect example of parents pissed him off enough that he's like, geez, I can't please anybody.
Yeah, right. So also I wanted to see how well you knew your own stats and little nuggets, right? So obviously I'm from Chicago. I live in Jersey now, but I got my Bear sweatshirt on and my Cubs hat. Why are the Cubs integral to your career, especially starting your career?
Well, because Glendon Rush decided to hang me a 3-2 changeup, and he will forever be my favorite player in the big leagues because of that. And he lets me know it
your first hit.
Yes, but what I tell people is, look, my career got off to a magical start, but one pitch can shape things, man. I was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts my first game going into my last at bat, and it was a 3-2 count, and he hangs me that changeup, and I hit a home run. So I was also 1 strike away from the hat trick.
Sure. But Wrigley Field couldn't keep the ball in. Yeah, that was a doubleheader, the second game. It was late in the 7th, 8th inning, something like that. And you knocked it out of the park.
And then the following year we go to Wrigley, and that was when Zambrano and Barrett got in the brawl. Pinella got kicked out during that day game and went nuts. And I look over at center field and Andrew Jones starting walking in. And I'm like, what's he walking in for? And I turn around and all of a sudden I see freaking bottles coming right out of the stands at us. And I started running it.
Yeah.
We had like a 20-minute delay. It was great.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I wanted to talk a little bit about your faith because I saw on your profile it has Joshua 1-9. Yep. And without showing everybody my big fat belly, I actually have it tattooed on my ribs, wow. Joshua 1-9. So I was like, this is almost like, one of those things that kind of like, wow, what are the chances of that? So just want you to touch on like how your faith has kind of played a role in your life or in your career and kind of how that shaped you as a man, as a husband, father, things like that.
Well, I can tell you first off, man, I don't know how I would have got through a lot of my career without my faith and without my belief in having a savior that died for us and what he's able to do. I mean, this game's so tough. You have moments that are tough, but I had a mom and dad who raised us in a great household. And I remember, so when I was in the minor leagues in 2004, I got hit in the face with a fastball at 97 right here. And I had 8 hours of surgery, man. I got 2 plates under my eye, shattered my whole nose sinus area. And I was in the hospital for 2.5 weeks, had to have like I said, extensive surgery. And every day my mom would read that verse to me and says, have I commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be discouraged or afraid, for I am the Lord your God and will be with you wherever you go. And for me, it made, so whenever I went back out to play, I always wore that on my batting gloves. I would toss it to kids, toss it to people, because, ultimately for me, I love baseball and I love what I do, but I know I played for a higher purpose and for a God. And so for me, it was always one of those things. I knew that I was getting to play this game by his grace, because if that fastball was about that much more up, I probably would have never played again. I mean, it probably would have gone right and took my eye. So, it was one of those things that, I always like to, same reason I'm sure you have it. It's a great reminder of why we are where we are and the things we have.
Yeah. And just to not be afraid and to, just be courageous. Like that's, just one of those callings, like do the right thing, being courageous, being strong, and just knowing that, he's got your back. So I saw that in your profile. I had to bring it up. I thought it was pretty cool.
Thank you. That's awesome.
I want to talk about World Series. Obviously, you played in a World Series yourself in 2010 with the Rangers. Are there any parallels between playing in the game and then watching and rooting on the Braves like you did last season?
Yeah, I can tell you this. It's a lot less stressful when you're sitting in the stands with buddies last year.
Really?
Yeah.
You say it's less stressful to watch?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because at the big scheme of things, man, like, again, like I was diehard, look, I was pulling for the Braves last year, obviously, but at the same time, when you're in the World Series, I mean, every pitch, you're on the top step. When you're in the game, you're in it. And it's just, you dream of winning one your whole life. And don't get me wrong, as a fan, I'm a Falcons fan and I'm still scarred from the 28-3 comeback.
Yeah,
that
brutal.
absolutely just, I don't think I'll ever get over that. But as a player, you want to win one so bad, man. I mean, you really do. That's why it's amazing to me sometimes in this day and age when you see certain guys, and I'm not going to call them out, but certain guys that, maybe follow the money big time. You know what I'm saying? And go to some place where, I hate to say it, you're going to suck for 6 years.
Yeah.
I just like, when you start talking 180 to 160 million, give me 160 million and let me go to a team that's going to win. Isn't that why you play the game? I'm here in DC doing the games, and I mean, no offense, the Nats won the World Series 3 years ago, and I've watched them the last 2 nights. It's unbelievable the difference in this ball club in just 3 years. And my whole thing, and look, the Nats were good for a long time. I'm not taking that away. They had a nice run. But it's like, I want to be good. And that's why I love what the Braves have done with Michael Harris, Austin Riley. Look, it's not like they signed for cheap money. They got a good contract, but they know, what? We're going to win here in Atlanta. We're going to be good. Isn't that why you play the game? Right. I mean, that's how I always felt. And I know a lot of people feel the same way as me, but sometimes, man, some of these people that follow the money, I'm like, go ahead. You can go suck for 10 years somewhere if that's what you really want to do. But for me, when I was in that World Series, man, I wanted to win so bad. It obviously didn't happen, but it was fun.
Well, that's what I always think is like, when is it enough money, right? I mean, you're not taking care of like 50 people. Like, I want to be able to take care of myself, my wife. And like, I obviously don't have $100 million contract, but if I was offered that, I'm good where I'm at. Like, my kids are in school. We're going to compete. Like, why do I want to go to California or wherever just so I can sit there? Like, I don't understand that, but I guess some people, just want that big paycheck. Maybe is it a like an ego thing too? Like, I'm the highest paid player.
I definitely think it is for some people. And I think at the end of the day, my whole thing with the ego thing, it's like, Do what Jeter did, man. Go win a whole bunch of World Series and become one of the greatest players, leaders of all time. Not
Mhm.
just players, but leaders of a clubhouse.
Right.
That's what I think you could say about Jeter. Like, was he the greatest shortstop I've ever seen? Not even close. Was he one of the best leaders of a team I've ever seen? 100%.
Yeah, and that's where I agree because and he was like the face of baseball for he was on every video game but yeah, that's one of those important things like you mentioned, being a leader of a team, a face of a franchise.
Yeah.
This kind of just depends on what you're looking for. I want to talk about baseball from the bleachers. You and Chip Carey, you guys move your broadcast booth to the right field stands. How different is that calling a game from the bleachers as opposed from behind home plate?
I will tell you this, if you had to do it every game, it would be awful because it is so hard to see the action,
Yeah.
the ball coming off. I remember Austin Riley hit a long fly ball to left field. And I mean, we didn't know if it was gone or not. From up top, you can tell in 2 seconds that ball's gone. But I will tell you this, it was cool. We had Brian McCann on with us for the game. We were out there hanging out with the fans. We were, giving gloves and baseballs away to all the kids. It's just a cool way to do a game a couple times a year, and it's fun to interact and do it out there. I play catch with Michael Harris in the 4th inning from the top.
Yeah.
So it's just something different. When you do a lot of games like this, man, every night can become monotonous where you just sit there and it's the same thing. Do the open, do the game. So when you're able to switch it up like that, it was a lot of fun, and especially where the Braves are now because they're.
Oh boy, Jeff cut out again. One last time. Jeff cut out real quick. He's having some internet issues at the hotel, so he's going to get back on here. I'm pretty sure he'll be back on shortly. He was just telling us about baseball from the bleachers. Him and Chip Carey moved their broadcast booth to the right field bleachers. There he is.
I'm back. I don't know what the
right.
heck's going on. Yeah, but so it's just cool to be able to do something different, with the fans in a different perspective. Like I said, right now the Braves are getting 41,000 a night.
Mm-hmm.
So that place is electric. It kind of reminds me, honestly, I told someone, they asked me about it. I said, it reminds me of that run in Philly when we would go up to play the Phillies in like 07, 08, 09, 10 with all those guys. And every night, man, there was 40,000 people there. And there's no better way to play baseball.
Yeah. And that's a really great fan experience too. Like, if you're sitting out in the outfield, fans get to see you, like you said, interacting. I think that just helps build that like camaraderie and like that, fan base atmosphere,
100%. Absolutely. People feel like they're a part of it and they feel like they know you. And that's a great thing.
Yeah. Jeff, I want to know your thoughts on today's rule changes, clocks, batter minimums, robot umpires. I am more of a baseball purist. Generally, I like the game how it is. I don't think if you shave off 15 minutes of baseball, you're going to be drawing in new people. I don't think, baseball's 15 minutes shorter. Of course, I'm going to watch 162 games now. So I just want to know your thoughts about all these rule changes coming in, and you can talk about which ones you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. Well, the first one, I'll tell you the bases. I don't really give a crap either way. I mean, I didn't think that was that big of a deal. Like, if you want to make the base that much bigger, go ahead.
Right.
I'm not that worried about that one. The pickoff to first base is the dumbest rule I've ever heard. And I'm hoping that gets changed because it's like you throw over twice. Now, if you throw over a third time, you either got to pick him off or he goes to second base. I mean, what is that? That's not baseball. Now the two I do like, I hate the shift. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. And it has nothing to do with analytics. It has nothing to do with me hating on anything. It has everything to do with me not wanting to watch Austin Riley run from third base to right field every 6 pitches.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm over it. Just get me 2 guys and let's play baseball. So I will tell you that. I'm excited for that one. I really am. The pitch clock, I will tell you this, that I think you will see a little bit better style of baseball from a standpoint of, I'm not going to call certain guys out again, but there's guys, you watch and it literally takes them a minute to get in the batter's box. And then between pitches, it's 30 seconds. And I don't think it's necessarily going to help gain fans back or be like you said, but I do think it has the ability to keep fans that are on the edge right now. I will tell you this. We did the Nats Braves game Monday night. here in Washington. It was an 8-0 game. And you had two guys, Bryce Elder and Abbott, who were minor league guys all year that had done the pitch clock. 2-hour, 24-minute game. It was 8-0. There were tons of hits. There was tons of action. But I felt like, and I even, my brother-in-laws both live here, and they're at the game like, man, that was good. It was a smooth game. It went quick. Nobody has a problem with 3 hours. What I got a problem with is when these games go 3 hours and 48 minutes and it's a 3-2 ball game. Like to me, that just gets out of control. Now, I will tell you this, during the playoffs, I don't like the pitch clock. I think you should bang it during the playoffs and just let them play, because let's be honest, if your team is in the playoffs, you don't care if you're there 2.5 hours or 3.5 hours.
Right.
Right. You're there. And if you're watching at home, you ain't turning off in the 7th inning if it's a 3-2 ball game.
Right.
So, but I don't think they're going to enforce it to this like certain extent. I've heard from numerous guys that it's not going to be like 15 seconds, that's a ball, 15 seconds, that's a strike. But I think what they want to do is have a sense of urgency with some of these people.
Set some parameters.
Yeah, and between me and you, there's a lot of pitchers that could probably use the pitch clock as far as it would not let them think as much. They get the ball, they throw it. They get the ball, they throw it. And I always tell people, too, you keep your defense involved, man. If I'm sitting in right field like I was all those years, and I got a guy that is just, a human rain delay on the mound, I'll be honest with you, I checked out half the time. I'm like, well, this is brutal. It's tough. So I don't want it to be where it takes away from the game. But I will tell you this. I've talked to all the guys that have gone to the minor leagues, all the guys that have had rehabs down there and come back. And they're like, man, this is a good thing. This really is. The pitch clock does not it does not change the way the game's played. And it's speeding it up by 20 minutes. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot. You're a baseball guy. So am I. We don't care. If I got to be there 3 hours, 20 minutes, I got to be there. But I know this, when I bring my kids to the game, they're 9, 7, 4, and 2. You only got so long before they're checked out.
Yeah. I only got a certain amount of juice boxes,
That's my point. After 6 Cokes and popcorn, dude, you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Cotton candy's wrapped up. So
yeah, exactly.
I wanted to know, because I think different people have different views on this. If Aaron Judge hits 62 home runs this season, is he the single season home run leader champion?
I would, yeah, I would say so, from a standpoint of, I'm still the guy that says Hank Aaron's all-time, home run champion. I'm from Atlanta, so I'm biased, but, I would say so. He's got every right to it. I'll tell you this. And I'll tell you, man, I hope he breaks it. I'm pulling like heck for him. These people need to stop walking him, dude. Like the Blue Jays. Come on, man.
Nobody wants to give it up.
Blue Jays, you're 2.5, 3 games up in the first wild card. Just let him hit a bomb and be done with it. No, but, he's a guy that, let's be honest, man, he's great for baseball. He's everything you want in a baseball player. He shows up. He plays hard. He good family guy. Like, you can root for that.
I agree. I think it's hard not to recognize. I think he's having one of the best seasons ever. And in a contract year too, where you bet on yourself. Have you ever been in a situation like that, Jeff, where it's, a contract year, you bet on yourself, you're not signing? Have you ever experienced anything like that? What's that like?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun until you suck like I did twice, and then you don't get what you want.
Okay.
No, you know what, man? He's got, look, I always tell people this too. You work your whole life to get to free agency. And you know what? Maybe I know he grew up out in the Bay. I know there's a lot of talk about him going out there, other places. So who knows what he wants to do? But I do know that he's bet on himself. He bet on himself in the right way. And he's gone out there and continued to handle it. Not only that, man, the way he handled the negotiations in spring training, I thought were outstanding. He didn't let it become a distraction. He just kind of was like, hey, we're going to, I'm going to move on. I'm going to play this year. I'm going to be focused for the team. And he's done that and more. So he's in a good spot.
Beautiful. I'm excited to see kind of how this season unfolds for him and the Yankees. This is our last segment, Jeff. I appreciate this so much, but we're gonna do a rapid fire. Okay,
I'm
just gonna ask you questions and you do a rapid fire. Here we go. Rapid fire. Best player in the game today.
God, right. I'll say Aaron Judge right now.
Aaron Judge. Walk-off home run or robbing a home run to end the game?
Ooh, robbing a home run, man, because that
Oh.
makes it hurt. Oh, it makes it hurt.
The robbery. Beer or cocktail?
Cocktail.
Cocktail. What kind of cocktail?
Jack and ginger with lime. I'm a true Southern boy, man. Jack Daniels.
I like it. Best pitcher you've ever faced?
Roy Halladay, God bless his soul, was one of the most amazing competitors and pitchers you've ever seen. A 2.031 fastball felt like an actual just bowling ball coming at you.
Yeah. Your greatest professional accomplishment?
Wow, that's something. You know what my greatest professional accomplishment for me was going back to El Paso in 2014, grinding 3.5 months in the minor leagues after 8.5 years in the big leagues, and coming back to the big leagues for 4 more years. For me, that made it all worthwhile.
Shows your resilience and everything like that, right?
Yep, grit, man. I had to dig deep.
The grit. Your greatest personal accomplishment?
Having my 4 kids.
Beautiful. Number one, dad. Last one. Best piece of advice you can give any young player?
Oh, man, I love this one, and thank you for asking me that, because the best advice I can give any young player, man, is go out and play baseball, play football, play basketball, play golf, play all the sports you possibly can, because you never know which one you're going to be good at. I hate specialized sports at 8 years old, man. I can't stand it. I think we need to give these kids every opportunity to play. And another thing I'll tell you, man, that I tell all these kids, have fun. Good Lord, when you're 11, 12 at a perfect game tournament, instead of worried, putting pressures on kids to perform, go have fun with your friends, man. Play baseball and enjoy it, because it goes quick, man. I've already got a daughter who's 9 years old, and I'm coaching her travel ball. And I think, man, my daughter's already halfway basically gone before she goes to college. And so, enjoy the time you have. To the young guys in the big leagues, I tell them too, I said, enjoy it, because in 15 years, you're going to be doing what I'm doing and calling games.
Yes.
But I think that's the greatest thing. Tell all these kids, play as many sports as you can, man, and have fun with it, because ultimately that's what you want. The memories of having fun. If you get to the big leagues, awesome. Chances are you're not going to. So enjoy the moments you have with your buddies in middle school and high school.
Absolutely. Jeff, I'm going to end this. Stick around just so I could say goodbye to you. But everybody, this has been episode 61, Lost in the Shuffle. We thank Jeff Francoeur. Make sure you listen to him. Braves broadcast. Jeff, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us and giving us some sage knowledge that you have from the big leagues, talking about your playing days. Oh, man, he's gone. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We will be back next time. Thanks again. See you later.